Well, hello. This is a video regarding how you can use guest access to your Office 365 environment combined with the settings for sensitivity labels in order to protect information and have it still accessible for your guest users. This all depends on things like Azure AD, business-to-business connections, but also with a setting called authenticated users, or authenticated users as I'm used to call it. It's a setting within your label permission settings, and it basically allows for any user who authenticates against Azure AD to be able to use the label settings for permissions. For example, read only, view only, or also co-authoring. So anyone who can access the document with using Azure AD accounts can really open such a document. So let's see how that works with three different kinds of accounts. First of all, in the video I'll use a Office 365 account, I'll use a Microsoft account, and I'll also use a Protonmail account, but there's a little catch to that, so I'll explain in the video. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, in this video we'll be looking at the oopsie, let's move that out of the way. We'll be looking at external sharing combined with the labels. So over here we have a SharePoint site. I've got three demo documents, one of which is labeled medical privacy, and this is a label which has the authenticated user setting enabled. Over here I have a label highly confidential financial information that's set to only allow people within my domain, and as you can see over here, this document doesn't have any restrictions at all. It doesn't have a label assigned to it. So let's share all of these with a specific number of people. So first of all, I have this one, which is an Outlook account. So that's a Microsoft account. So let's take this one. I'll go for this one as well. That's an Active Directory account, another tenant basically. So that's another Office 365 tenant. And I have a demo account. I have multiple demo accounts. And let's go for this one, which is a Protonmail account. I'll try to open the document with all three accounts and see what happens. So let me just change this to edit settings. So, and I'll just do the same for these two other ones. So let me take this one, and let me take this one, and let me take this one, and I'll do the same for this one. So this one, and I'll go for this one. Yep. Oh, there it is. And I'll go for the Protonmail as well. So I've got. Okay, the documents have been shared. So let's take a look. And first of all, let's take a look at a Office 365 tenant account. Okay, right now I'm logged in using my other tenant account. Just to show you, over here I've got my account. Unfortunately it doesn't state my account specifically, but this is my other tenant account. And let me just show you, if I go for this one, well, there's no problem there, of course. It's simply opened. Let's go for well, let me explain first of all. What I'm expecting is that I will be able to open this one, and I won't be able to open this one, because this one again doesn't have the authenticated user setting enabled. So let's go for this one, and as you can see, you are not authorized, which is, well, correct. This is what I expected it to be. So let me just open participation letter. This is an example letter with example data in it, and you see it opens up, and I have my medical privacy information over here. So basically, because of the settings for the label, which I will show you in a couple of minutes, this can now be opened by another tenant account. Okay, going to another scenario, that's a Microsoft account, which can be Outlook, Live.com or Hotmail, for example. I'm using Outlook.com as an example, and over here I have my account, and you see that the files have been shared. In order to open them, I just open them, I enter my email address as a verification, and then the files will open. I have them over here, and again, if I'm correct, then the financial document won't be able to open because of the authenticated user setting. Please note, however, that I'm expecting an error message, a very clear, concise error message. Sometimes the system, either due to caching problems or whatever, screws up basically and shows you things like this. An error has occurred on the server. As you can see over here, I'm trying to open the same financial document. If you try again, then the problem is solved, weirdly enough. So let me just show you over here. Again, this is the one without the encryption, so that's no problem at all. It's opening. Over here I have my Outlook account, so that's correct. If I'm trying to open this one over here, oh, something has gone wrong. Okay, well, let's try again then. Let me see if it will be solved. Let me just try again. No, still wrong. Okay, I'll try again later. And over here I'm trying to open this one, and this one works like a charm. So over here you see it's still the authenticated users. I'll show you in a couple of minutes what kind of settings there are in that in this label over here, the medical privacy information. I'll try to open this one because it should open. If not, yeah, there it is. Okay, so sometimes it does provide you with that error, but in the end this is how it works. So these are the two Microsoft accounts, so let me just go to the Protonmail account. Okay, and here we are. This is Protonmail. Well, that's not a Microsoft environment, so again, files have been shared, and over here I have those shared files. However, there is a catch to this. In order for me to open any file which has the protection enabled, or has protection enabled which doesn't allow me to open it, so it's been encrypted, I still need a Microsoft account. That's because the encryption uses Azure Active Directory. So in order for me to show you what I'm going to show you, I created a Microsoft account. I used my Protonmail email address for this, but basically what you're seeing over here is this Protonmail account has a Microsoft account associated to it. By doing so, I can open the document. So over here I have, well, again, my general document, which well, is very easy. Again, this one, well, again, I'm not authorized. Yeah, that makes sense. And this one should open. And there it is, again, with the label and with my Protonmail account enabled. So this is how this works. You really do still need a Microsoft account. If you don't use a Microsoft account and just share a file with someone, then this will not work. So please be aware of this. The way I used this environment right now is to invite this user. The user then creates a Microsoft account based on the Protonmail account, and then everything works okay. However, just to reiterate, if you have an Azure AD account, either because you're already using Office 365, for example, then you don't need to do anything. If you have a Microsoft account, like a Live.com, a Hotmail.com or an Outlook.com, there's no problem either. Only if you don't have any of these, then the protection setting for all authenticated users will not work. Having said that, let's take a look at that setting, because that is another requirement for this to work. Okay, as you saw in the demo, I had two labels. I'll just show you this one. This is the medical privacy information label. And over here we see the settings. So I'll just edit the label and I'll just head over to the encryption and settings, and these are over here. So in order to get this to work, to be able to share your documents from SharePoint, for example, with the label attached and the protection in place, with the functionality you saw a couple of minutes ago, you need to add this one, authenticated users. You could also, of course, set the authentication to a specific domain or a specific external user. But if you don't know these by hand, for example, you're starting a collaboration environment and you don't know exactly who's going to be part of that collaboration environment, then use the all authenticated users over here, or authenticated users. This way, when a document is opened, RMS, Rights Management Service, will check the permissions, will check if there is an Azure AD account. If so, then the document will be decrypted, either in the Office apps or in the Office Online. There are some catches to this. For example, when you're using iOS or using the Mac, for example, and a link is in the description of my blog post for this. But all in all, like I said, this does work. Okay, well, in this short video I tried to explain how guest access and labeling works. It's a combination of having the right accounts, using the guest access B2B within Azure AD, but also having the all authenticated user or authenticated users settings within your label. So please go and try this out. Again, as you already noticed in my video, you will see, perhaps sometimes you'll see a really weird error message. That's not the way it used to work, so please be aware of that as well. So I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.